Hello and welcome to Etiquette Conversations with EFI and Shirley, where we redefine modern etiquette one conversation at a time. I am your host, EFI, and with
Shirley
me,
Shalaby.
good. Hello, Shirley. How are you this
Hi,
morning?
my love.
My time and afternoon, your time, and all over
hmm
the world. Again, I welcome you all to this wonderful topic, the essential etiquette of social gatherings, best practices, common missteps and mistakes, and how to avoid them. In this place, what we do is we explore the nuances of civility, social grace, and the art of making meaningful conversations. Now, social gatherings, whether they are formal or informal, they provide an opportunity to connect and network and strengthen relationships. But while many people focus on what to wear or how they will be attending, fewer people pay attention on how to engage in these settings. That's where etiquette comes in, and that's why we're talking about it today. Today we're going to break our discussion into different aspects where we talk about what you should do and what you should not do, the missteps and then the mistakes, and then we continue. At this point in time, I'm going to invite my veteran friend, and she's going to take us through the maps from the point you come in, the map of social gatherings. Welcome, Shirley.
Hi, Effie, and hello, everyone. And thank you for joining us in yet one more happy subject. We really try hard, Effie and I, to talk about useful and entertainment and happy subject and avoid anything that's a no-no. So the subject today is how to respect etiquette, follow etiquette and gracefulness and civility, as Effie always says, while entertaining friends and people. Could be friends, could be family, entertainment at home. I selected this subject because I think it's very useful, especially for young couples, to know the steps to reach their destination of a successful event. And this is an education. You build on the past time you did mistakes, so next time you would not do mistakes and you would feel more comfortable and you would feel more relaxed. So what kind of event do we discuss? Could it be lunch? Could it be dinner? Could it be cocktails? Could it be wine and cheese? It could also be high tea or brunch. Several things in not in a commercial establishment, because it's easy to take friends to a restaurant and pay a very high bill, and I don't think it's very personal like at home. When we visit people in their home, we get to know them more, and then it's ever so rewarding for the hostess to make something successful. So let's say a lunch, or no, let's say a dinner, uh, like a reception dinner, which is a large number, more than 12 or 14. So the guests cannot sit around the table. No tables in normal homes would take more than 12 or 14. So we have exceeded the number of 14. What do? We make a buffet style reception. So the hostess, first of all, she starts. What are the steps? She starts by sending out invitations. Invitations nowadays are sent digitally by WhatsApp or by email, and with requiring RSVP. And then she has to figure out the menu. She has to figure out that if it's depending on the time of the year. Again, the menu differs, and the decorating. People are not here to eat and see a tired hostess. People are there to mingle and enjoy the atmosphere and the ambiance. How to create this ambiance by pulling strings, the right things. First of all, to be organized and to prepare way ahead of time. Now, the lady or the hostess should figure out the menu and prepare the what we call the mise en place, like prepare the table ahead a couple of days ahead of time. Serving dishes should be on the table. Utensils, serving utensils should be on the table. And dear, there is something I'd like to say here. No one is supposed to have the same china set. You could mingle and mix two china sets very easily, as long as they, of course, they are suitable to each other. You could, of course, use silver or silver plate dishes. You could use transparent dishes. I mean, mixing and matching shows the character, the individuality of the hostess. And that's amazing. As long as it's
Wow.
ready before the event, and then you can stick post-it paper on the serving dishes with the kind of food that will come on each respective plate.
Mm.
Very important not to wait for the guests to be here and look for the serving spoon. Oh, this is fish, so let me find the fish fork. No. And what about the plates of the guests? You can have them on the sideboard, on top of each other, everything very easily and simply displayed. And the
Mm.
napkins next to them, and the forks and knives that you use, but you could roll every fork and knife within the napkin. Again, I'd like to mention that you do not also need to have matching napkins, assuming it is springtime. So I suggest you use a tablecloth that is spring color, yellow or pistache or soft or pink, or something that's matching with your walls. And the napkins could have flowers the same color. Um, I mean, have fun. You can have fun. There is no rule that says be dogmatic and follow the rules as they are, as long as it's done with a lot of taste and it
Mm.
shows your individuality, your personality.
Right.
Something I suggest for the easy traffic at the buffet is to remove the chairs that are around the table so they can move and the room would look larger. Make
Okay.
sure the whole house is clean and beautiful. Everything is set. The drinks area is in another station with water and everything. It's nice to display water in a jug, not in a plastic commercial bottle. And that jug could have slices of lemon or slices of fresh mint. I mean, water with the taste is also lovely, beside all sorts of drinks that people could have. If it's a sit down dinner, it's a different ball game. Sit down dinner, again, with the RSVP people or the guests, it's their duty not to not. I mean, if they coming a couple, they do not bring a friend. I mean, the lady of the house or the hostess should know exactly the number of people attending that dinner, so that she prepares the seating arrangement. Sit down dinners are a bit tricky, but they're fun. I remember many years ago, I was always would my friends would say, with etiquette, Shirley, where do I sit? No, I mean, lady of the house should not wait and decide. You're the wife of the ambassador. You sit here, and you're the wife. No, no. Have name tags. Figure it out ahead of time.
Right.
Everybody is a friend. Everybody is welcome. But there is always a guest of honor, maybe, right?
Right.
And there is the host and the hostess. Host at the edge of the table, the hostess at the other edge. Guest of honor lady is on the right of the host. Guest of honor gentleman is on the right of the hostess. And then you try to make like boy, girl. And no husband, if it's at home, would sit next to her wife, try to mingle people and create a conversation. And try to
Right.
stick to the different genders. Sometimes it doesn't work, so you'll have to move. You could give as a hostess your place to the guest of honor. It's a bit complicated, but it's so much fun. It's like a game of cards, but we can give another episode explaining all that. If you
Right.
read need to be that official. Um, there are other things that I'd like to mention about making sure that event is successful. Your role is important as a hostess, and the host, their role is very, very important. First of all, make sure people mingle, are introduced to each others. Make sure the stars are not all in one end and the quiet are not all in one end. Make sure you know how to break the ice and let the quiet talk about himself or herself. If he's a football champion, make him talk about it. You see?
Right.
So you're opening subjects of conversation. Make sure for the lady to be wearing comfortable shoes. That is for sure. Also, as an advice, the light should be dimmed, not too bright. I mean, having side lamps, having dimmer switch is also lovely, and then you can raise the dimmer while the meal is served. Um, what else? In the ambiance, home is something else. When you visit people in their home, you get to know them more than others. So show your authenticity. It doesn't have to be extremely, full of arts and crafts. No, but it's you and it's comfortable, and you're enjoying it as much as them. There are other arrangements. If it's a high tea is lovely. It comes, you have to prepare your sandwiches, cucumber sandwiches, and others, which I love tremendously. And think of the elevation. The table looks nicer when some dishes are elevated and some serving dishes, I mean, and some are flat. So it's soothing to the eye. If it's a buffet, of course, your flower arrangement could be high, could be elevated. But if it's a sit down meal, please make sure your flower arrangement is very flat so that people could see each other's. For sit down meal, you prepare the cutlery, forks and knives and spoons on the in front of everyone, plus the name tags. And then you can tell them, I'm afraid, I mean, I'll ask you to help yourself. The food is on the sideboard or on a side table. They could go and come and sit and talk. And that opens a subject of conversation. If you are serving soup, well, the soupière, the soup ball, is on, I would advise it to be on the table, and the ladle is on a side small plate, and then everybody is to help themselves, or people could help each others, and then you will need help, someone to collect the plate of the first course, which is the soup. Once it's picked up, now you are ready to stand and serve, help yourself. It's easy if you have a lot of help. If you don't have much help, you need some planning, but it's nice and cozy too. Would you have ideas? Do you have questions more, Effie?
Um, I'll just want to add, I have some little ideas that I want to add, a few of them. I want to talk about the best
Yes, please.
practices for social gatherings, how to
Yes.
navigate them with confidence, and the key principles to consider. One would be arriving on time and with a positive
Ah,
attitude. Um,
the guests.
Being punctual is a sign of respect for your host and the other guests. You don't want a situation where everyone is waiting for you to arrive.
Mhm.
And when you arrive, um, enter with warmth, with a smile. Try to make eye contact and greet others with confidence. Next, I would want to say, which you mentioned, um, try to RSVP. RSVP, as we know, is
You are
responsive.
right.
Please reply. So when you get an invitation, every social gathering starts with the host inviting you. So when you get an invitation, try to ensure that you respond if you will be attending. And if you will not be attending, let the host know that you will not be attending. I mean, at responding shows that um you honor your commitments as a person, unless emergency arises and then you have to now change, but try to respond. Next, I would want to say, which are key principles: dress for the occasion. um Dressing is situational. You want to dress, if it's a dinner party, you want to dress for the occasion. Some invitations might even state the mode of dressing. Try to comply as much as possible. And if you're not sure of the mode of dressing, you could place a call to the host to ask if it's informal or if it's formal mode of dressing. They actually, your dress code, they exist for a reason. They set the tone for the event. So if in doubt, like I said, dress one step formally. Ask the host. If you're not sure, dress one step formally than you would do, rather than underdressing. You don't want to get to that place and then you are the one that is underdressed. Next, I would say, is engage in meaningful conversations. Ask open-ended question. Last week we delved into that. Ask open-ended question. We talked about graceful conversations and we properly handled it well. So our guests can listen to our last week uh, YouTube video on graceful
Mhm.
conversations. Offer to contribute if appropriate, whether you're bringing a small gift, you just want to be a considerate guest, you could bring a small gift, and you could also thank the host personally for leaving and following up with a message. Now, Shirley, before I go on speaking, I would want to ask you, what are the missteps in social gathering? What are the little errors that they are not, they don't damage your reputation, but they are missteps and they can be a little embarrassing?
You mean from the point of view from the side of the hostess or the guests?
The guest.
From the guest,
For
yeah.
both. For both.
Brought okay, let's say the guest again. You just mentioned, and the most important point is not to be late, especially if it's a sit down dinner. For sit down meals, this is really annoying if two space on the table are missing because Mr. and Mrs. are late. So in your invite as a hostess, please specify it's going to be a sit down dinner. That is
Mm,
very, very important. So they reciprocate by respecting the timing. If it's
right.
a buffet and a party, honestly, they are the losers if they are late, but it doesn't say much about them. Cocktail receptions in big establishment like embassies, national days, and stuff like that. Yeah, people could go in and out. They have a span of time uh, between which they could come and go.
Mm,
So the timing differs from the occasion.
okay.
And you also said about the dress code. Nowadays, very oftentimes with the invitation, people specify the dress code. You are right.
Mm,
And gosh, there are so many dress codes, so many terms and new expressions, um, like casual evening, or I don't know, very a variety of expressions. And as a style advisor, I do follow all that, and it's quite confusing. I'm trying to remember all those terms, new titles of dress
okay.
codes. So yes,
Quick one. Quick question for you, Shirley. Um,
to
we
mention, and it's also good. Oh, no, sorry. And it's also very important to find out. You can ask, because some people come with the ideas, everybody dressed in white, everybody dressed in blue. I just confuse everybody. Everybody. So it's good to find out. um, Something else that maybe I'd like to add, again, the role of the hostess, because that makes a lot of people nervous, and they find it easier to invite at restaurants, which is also fun. Everyone likes to go to restaurants, but at home is home, you see.
oh,
uh, if you prepare a sit-down meal, honestly, it's very important to have the cutlery set the right way. The glass of water is right on top of the knife, for instance, and the water is poured ahead of time. Two-thirds of the glass, not the full glass, please. Wine or other drinks are poured at the table at the request of people, for sure. Make sure the whole thing is smooth, and you don't need, as a hostess, to leave the table and get something missing. I mean, have the salt and pepper shaker, and if someone asks for salt, you have to present salt and pepper together. The two shakers are moved together, and you can move the food, move the bread among everyone, have the bread plate on the left of each person ready, and the little knife for bread and butter. That makes the whole evening so smooth and relaxed, and it's ever so simple.
Wow.
And the guests, of
Thank
course,
you.
they have duties. uh, you know what's the duty of the guests? To
Tell
show
me.
their appreciation.
Wow.
Some people, and I did mention it before tasting any food, they salt and pepper. That is indeed an insult to the poor hostess who prepared everything. The guests could comment on the food, and if they don't like it, they say, oh, what a great experience to try this kind of food. I mean, inclusiveness is needed in everything,
Okay.
in every step of our life.
Right.
That is a happy
Okay.
event, and I could talk
Okay.
forever about it.
Okay, so I want to talk about the etiquette of missteps in social gatherings.
So
As you
thank you.
know,
I
there are
think Effie,
missteps.
she has a little bit of challenge with the Wi-Fi, and I hope we can continue that subject every time. There are more, and there is more today details about that subject, and I do send questions. Do send questions, because this is a very big and wide subject. We could talk about holding birthday parties for children and how to get them ready to conduct their own birthday party and not to wait for everyone to entertain them. Developing personality is part of life. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and we will see you next week. We are awaiting your questions, because they inspire us and they give us lots of ideas. Bye now.